distortion to me. But you know, sometimes that's a little bit difficult to quantify. When you're doing that, you know, and I know that this is probably a question you get a lot, so you don't have to, but when you do that, what does it kind of feel like? What kind of process are you going through to make that happen? And, you know, however you describe it works. You don't have to, you know, get too technical or whatever if you don't feel like it, man.
With those ones specifically, because it is one of the more requested ones, and then it's like kind of my my main take on tunnel throats. Really, is like that is the definition of like what tunnel throat to me is. It's and the way that I figured out how to do those was I took mids and used like my mouth structure of a guttural. So I was going with like, and then using the as from my mouth, and then going. So it kind of like it comes through mids, but once it hits like my mouth, it has like this more tunnely, like sewage sound.
Sewage sound is a great sound, I think, and we're gonna talk more about tunnels here in a bit, because I can't stand that word myself, but it's the language that we speak.
Man, I only say it because that's what everybody else calls it. I was doing these types of vocals before that one kid called them this. So like I was like, okay, well, I guess that's what they are. It's same with like me with zombie vocals, you know, like you know, I know Travis doesn't like the term zombie vocals. I know a lot of vocalists that don't like the term zombie vocals, but you know, that's what I came out with, and that's fucking what some people call them now. So I'm like, oh, well, yeah, that's what it is.
This way.
Well, yeah, there's multiple different forms of tunnel throat. Like there's mid tunnel throats and low tunnel throats. Like the it'll come up in this song as well, where mid tunnel throats is just low tunnel throats is. It's still a tunnel. It's still a hollow shell where you're just opening up your throat and letting it come through, and just your mouth structure is what's blocking the air and making it sound so thick.
Yeah, creating that little resonance pocket. Well, we'll keep going. Yeah, spot.
That's basically me just doing a kid voice, like a cartoon kid voice, like, "Hi, how are you?" And then kind of adding that like push of vocals to it. Like, so there's not really much with the tone, just other than like if you know how to make a fucking like a Bart Simpson voice, or like, "Hi," and just, "How's it going there, guys? What's going on?" And then you start pushing the vocals through it, and it's, "Hi, how's it going there? The moist skin. Hi, the moist skin. The moist skin. The finish is flat." Wait, I fucking don't know the lyrics. I
forget my own lyrics all the time.
But it's pretty much just keeping your voice as light as possible and pushing it kind of just as little as possible. Like it's like the old lady who smokes too much voice, you know, where it just welcome. How are you? Blah, blah, blah. And that's just trying to keep it as low and not really pushing or projecting that much. Yeah, that's what I've noticed. There's another vocalist that has done my highs or tried to example my highs, and he's talked about being more nasally, where it's like it's not so much nasally, but you lowering your voice intentionally. Not like trying to squeeze up in your nose, because like there's and then there's you know. So there's one where it's more just using your voice with your highs, and then there's your nasal cavity where you're just like you're squeezing, you know, back here. It feels like you're just tightening up behind your fucking nose, and you're just doing the mine doesn't come from that. It comes from all right here, like you know.
Interesting. Yeah, I think that a lot of people who go for nasality as well also work for it a little too hard, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think that they overreach for the nasality when they're using it, because what a lot of people don't realize is a lot of your nasality is just going to come from the back of your tongue, right? You don't have to do any crazy stuff here, and I think it gives it this sort of like this. So yeah, like what's going on with Big Boy right here?
So this is a new style of vocal that you can kind of hear in some of the newer album, The Boy. We added a lot more to it because I figured it out more towards the end of The Egg. And it's literally just, I've been calling them gravel vocals just because they sound like two pieces of like rock just sliding together. And it's me, I plug my nose and I go through my nose, but it's stopping it, so it's coming through my mouth, and it just kind of makes it sound. So, and so when people say cupping the microphone's bad, is when I am just like, no, dude, it's not. That's part of your instrument. Like you're not going to sit there and yell over a whole crowd of people and your band without a microphone. You know, Alex Terrible can do it all he wants. All right, he's a tank. All right. We get he can do it, but listen, we got a microphone. Might as well use the most you can out of it. So like, yeah, that's where the nasally one, you put yourself down. And I even recording when we record it, I don't cup the mic at all. I just try and do that and just
tongue in your soft palate in a position similar to sing, or is it open? When you're doing that.
Yeah, probably an for sure.
See, that's I think that's what makes it sound so cool, because we have the ability to close off our nose internally, right? But then the resonance we
like
lose
without
this.
me doing this, it would be.
So you're getting all the resonance up here without losing the air. So the sound has to go up there and it's got to come out somewhere. So it travels back down into the mouth and out of the oral cavity, and that gives it this wild sound that's super crazy.
That's how I do the.
That's nuts. So are all of those sounds we heard kind of based on the same distortion generation and then manipulated differently up top, or are you changing even the way you're creating the distortion?
Yeah, I'm changing I'm going from, like you said, a traditional guttural into a lower tunnel throat into more of a mid tunnel throat, that's where all the like the gurgly mid stuff, like the oh man, that one sounded weird too. I'm trying to figure it out.
They sound sick.
Oh, there you go. No, that's where like the more gurgly is.
Yeah.
But what's the line? So it goes from like a super traditional guttural to those like very airy tunnel throats, and then turns into the type of shit.
Yeah, I was gonna say
the zombie vocals came. They were just noises for me. I was just sitting there. Walking Dead was coming around. I was doing some weird shit, and I was in. I did a couple haunted houses, so I was trying to sound super evil and stuff. So, and I found that I could just do the, and that was cool. So I was just like, "That's zombie vocals, cool." And then. For the longest time, my buddies wanted me to put it in music, and I was like, "Nah, man, they're just noises. They're just noises." And and they finally talked me into it, and that's pretty much. If it wasn't for them talking me into it, I probably wouldn't be doing them that much, because I wanted to be taken seriously, I guess, the best way I could say it. I was just like, I don't want to be the guy that's just known for the fucking ridiculous, crazy shit. But I guess, that's what I got. That's what I got. I don't mind it now. I embrace the shit out of it now.
You're like, oh.
Yeah,
go for it. Yeah.
No, well, it's like the old Jonathan Huber style, guys, where you got to do the twist.
Yeah, it's.
Yeah, pretty much.
Interesting. So I can guarantee I'm not going to hit it for anybody watching, but instead of where I have a, you have more of a kind of closer to that sound.
Yeah. Mine's more of a. Oh, it's like down here.
Yeah. Well, one thing about me is, let me ask you this. Do you have to increase the amount of abdominal pressure that you give that low? Or is it just as relaxed as like sitting there watching TV in the abdominal section? I know the neck is relaxed.
No,
but
yeah, definitely. Let me. Yeah, I probably give it a little bit more pressure.
Interesting. Okay. Well.
Yeah, probably a little bit more.
To me, it sounds like you're almost like speaking through gritted teeth. You know,
100%.
Talk to me about that sound.
If you, there's another part in the earlier in this song where I drag out an N, and I do the same thing, and it's just and it just it adds that little bit to it. So kind of that's what it is, where you just the angelic servants and stuck in mind be no recognition of this fragile boys. And it's pretty much just keeping your that like tone there,
right?
Where I mean, it comes to where it's kind of like singing as well. You know, that's where I know you were saying earlier where vocals aren't really singing, but where that tone you can go type of shit. So like, and it's just all about your voice using it, and less like your constriction and what you're pushing through. You know,
and that
where I am not changing the full dynamic of what I'm doing, where it's not like like a traditional guttural, like you can't automatically go from one tone to the other, so you have to work your way into it. So like if you were not pushing yourself your larynx down, you work yourself down into it if that's what you wanted to do. You know what I mean? So it's the best way to explain it is just a traditional guttural just going, and then that is just like a tongue switch, just and it's all still right there, but I'm kind of giving myself just a little bit more constriction towards the end there. I personally don't really like traditional gutturals too much, or doing them really that much. I like doing, that's why The Boy has so much, because a lot of people I've talked to that were huge fans of the Egg don't really like The Boy, because I did a lot less traditional gutturals in it than I did, in the last one. But it was just I like doing the more creative ones, like the tunnel throats, where it's more my voice rather than just me just doing gutturals. To me, it's just is like played out already. Nobody cares about hearing a breakdown that just sounds. And we're like, okay, we get it, dude. So.